So welcome to another edition of Open My Eyes. Today we're going to be showing you quickly a couple of ways that I use my iPad as my main laptop, if you will, or laptop replacement when you're away from home and you can do the functions of work. I tend to do some development work, and I've found that, of course, not Visual Studio or anything like that is on the iPad, but there are workarounds and ways that you could do development work while on the go. Two main ways that I like to do or connect to a machine. Either you could use Remote Desktop, which will allow connections to an Azure server, or you can use something called Logmein. Now, Remote Desktop is free as part of the OS for Windows machines, so straight out of the box, there's a cost difference between the two. Now, with Logmein, I prefer because you've got gesture control. It's very much around gestures and multi-display support and stuff like that. With Remote Desktop, it's very basic in terms of what it does, but essentially it still allows you to view your screen. I do like Logmein as well. I found it over 4G or 5G to be quite quick and responsive in terms of that, plus the gesture controls. I'll show you that in a moment. So let's fire up Logmein. Logmein has a security feature with Face ID, but that's logged me into my machine. Now, this is over a Wi-Fi network, and does allow me to correct and update. You can see I can zoom out to a full screen, so that's a higher resolution than the iPad display. But if I zoom in, it will snap to 100%. There you go. And the greatest thing about this product is the gesture control, as I mentioned. So to bring up the keyboard, it's very quick. 3 fingers up. There you go. There's the keyboard. And if you swipe 3 fingers down, it can be moved out of the way. You can see typing in there if we wanted to do company list tab, and yeah, you can see there I can really develop this to be quite responsive and pretty good. I do think this is a very good application, very responsive, certainly an alternative to carrying a heavy or a big laptop around. You could definitely use this. I've used this many a time to do development work and to work across that way. You can see now that I can just update the changes that I need quite clearly, quite concisely. Yeah, and it's very, very responsive. And that is a machine held on a private address, not via Azure. Presumably with an Azure machine it's even quicker, but I'll show you the difference between Remote Desktop and something like this. So this is a Windows machine direct. I'll go to a Mac. I'll log into my Mac remotely, and you'll see again how that'll come through. This machine has multi-display support, so you can see here, this is our main screen. If I do 3 fingers to the right, it will switch to the secondary display, which is the development machine that you saw earlier. And if you swipe 3 fingers to the left or right, and that will go to the other screen. What's also a great benefit is Windows has a great virtual desktop support, and Logmein uses that. You know, you can switch between virtual desktops as well. So by doing Control and left, for instance, to get to the left control, you can see there now I've switched to another display, and it's yeah, it is black, but yeah, that's it. There you go. And there's the other machine. So it's very intuitive, very easy to use. It's very much gesture controlled. So again, the swipe up, swipe down, swipe left and right to switch machines, to go across virtual machine. You pretty much can do everything that if you were sat in front of your Mac, for instance. Good thing about this as well, it shares the clipboard between your iPad to your machine, so means that I can post from, let's say, a Google address, and I can paste it into the virtual machine. So for instance, if I copy this now and I'll go into Notepad on the remote desktop machine that I've got here, so let's fire that up. Notepad up. You can see it should copy my, there you go, and it copies from my iPad. I've got a session in Google, and there you go, it copies straight through, which is very, very handy as well, especially if you want to do things. Now let's look at remote desktop. Now remote desktop isn't as intuitive. It doesn't have nice controls. It doesn't support multi-gestures at the moment. Ideally I want them to do that, but you know, with Microsoft and feature requests and all of that, it's very slow in any case. But you know, speed wise, again, I don't notice any difference. This is a remote desktop session for a computer in Azure. You can see I'm swiping 3 up, 3 down, left and right, nothing happens. Keyboard controls at the top, a little button there. You've got the zoom in function where a mouse will scroll. You can pinch and zoom, that's fine. And then you go back to the main menu or select apps, remote desktop apps, if you wanted. Yeah, let me know what you think. This has been a quick review of Logmein versus remote desktop. Not much to say between the two. If you want something more in depth, please write down below, put any comments, ideas, and I'll try and get back to you. I'm trying to make as many short overview videos that I can, things that I use day to day, and hopefully it'll help someone to make a choice between the two, what's benefit for their productivity and how to use it. Yep. Once again, this has been Ed. If I open my eyes, speak to you soon.